Is Zyn gonna kill me and the boys? Video by, good work. Let's see what it's all about. I like Zyn. Before we jump into it, I like Zyn. I can't, everyone has a vice, not justifying it, nor would I recommend it, but in contrast to what could be, right, cigarettes and all that other, just smoking in general, I used to do the, you know, not with cigarettes, but the ganj, right? And Zyn was my replacement for that. Just need a little bit of buzz, you know. It helps me, and it really just depends on how you approach it, kind of like with most things in life. But let's see what this guy's got to say about it. Good work. Inform me, good work. Will it kill me and the boys? Let's see.
This is Zyn. Inside of its hockey puck clamshell are over a dozen pearls of nicotine goodness that are now the only thing I care about in life. That's right, I am full-blown addicted to Ronald Reagan's, and apparently a lot of other people in corporate America are too. But I've got questions about me and my friend's exciting new habit. Questions like, is it bad that we're doing so much Zyn that we are literally running out? Am I gonna be okay? I mean, why do I love it so much? Seriously, why?
Granted, I mean, the best vice is no vice, but, you know, life weighs on you. And not to say that that's my personal reason. It could be. It could be just be in denial here. I like the little Zyns, and I still try to approach it in a fashion that's, like, responsible. You can use it so that you don't have to rely on it. Say if I were to stop doing it, I probably would be able to do that. It would just make things a little bit more bland. It's nice to get a little bit of little chisely to your guzzlies, if you know what I'm saying. Zyns. Yeah, I can't recommend it, but it seems to be, I've watched a few videos on it to see if it was bad or good, or it seems to just, again, no vice is the best way, but out of everything else, it seems to be one of the better things. Not recommending it, but we're just informing ourselves in this video on what the hell's going on here, so let's get that work done, good work.
Zyn is the most popular brand of nicotine pouch. Line.
Inside
Inside of its fibrous sac are a few grams of powdered nicotine that come in fun flavors like wintergreen, spearmint, and citrus if you're a total pansy. Now, these little suckers are produced by the Scandinavian tobacco company Swedish Match, who were acquired a few years ago by Philip Morris, a tobacco giant whose brands include Marlboro and Parliament. Now, I've been a Marlboro man for decades myself, but the missus just cannot stay off the Parliaments. It's a fun little household rivalry we have. That bitch. Zyn has been on sale in the US since 2014, but its popularity has surged recently. US shipment volumes reached a record level of 560 million units this year, bolstered by a flood of jabrones who appear to have created their own language.
Uppy Dicker, little Zimbabwe before the wedding.
It's a Zenachino.
Nothing like a chino mid-air, buddy.
You're Jennifer Aniston's, alright, guy?
A little uppy decky, sweet taste of Zendaya.
Hey, honey, did you say you had to go to Barnes Zyn Noble later?
Second Zyn, third Zyn, fourth. Holy shit, bro, I'm gonna be getting buzzing.
And in addition to these horrifying
Guys, guys, come on. Bros, come on. Why not just do a thing and not have it, like, be an aspect to your identity? What the hell's going on here? The bro-ish, the frat boyish, like, be responsible, people. Come on. Like, it's not easy, and it's an addictive thing, right? And people who are more susceptible to those types of things tend to succumb to that. But it's like, this applies virtually to everything in life. Nicotine pouches being one thing, right? Apply it to the types of, the way that you conduct your life, the type of food that you eat, your spending habits, fucking gambling, video games, anything. It all needs to be moderated. You have to sit down and think. You have to sit down and Zyn about it, right? And then you can know how to apply it to your life, to approach this thing in a certain way that won't detract from your overall quality of life, right? Because if it's something that you're relying on in the long run, I mean, that's gonna suck, because that's just more strings you're attaching to your well-being that could be severed if, you don't have access, if you don't get the thing, if you don't Zyn it, right? It's really, this shouldn't have to be said, and getting it from me, that really doesn't give it any more value. It's just the way that things are. It's not easy. I can understand it. I can under Zyn it. Or informative video so far, which is good. It's also entertaining, so subscribe to good work, please.
Horrifying broskies, many corporate office workers also count themselves as Zyn-thusiasts, and it's amongst these desk-hugging Excel monkeys that I first got hooked on the stuff. You see, a while back, I was working undercover as a vending machine operator in the offices of Charles Schwab. One day, some of the interns invited me to join them in ripping some upper-decky Zynachinos. I figured it was the perfect opportunity to develop these boys as sources. So to establish myself as an alpha, I immediately jammed a full tin into my mouth.
So the haircuts is the only thing. The curls, the fade back, whatever the hell that is. Also, this is Sunny V2 music. Try to make it all dramatic. I like the style of these videos. This is nice. You're really zinning my interest. I'm sorry.
Into my mouth and started chewing. They said I was the coolest man they had ever seen. After that, I blacked out. But when I woke up in the hospital a week later, I was a full-on comrade in the army of Joseph Stalin. And I was fiending for more. Of course, other than the music of Sade, I've never been addicted to anything in my life. So in order to better understand my craving, I tracked down a longtime Zinner and asked him why he loves taking a sweet slumber on the old lip pillow.
You've seen the memes, right? It's like what do you have for breakfast? It's like a Monster energy drink and like a Zyn. And like, that's like actually so true. Like, I mean, even like, I'm willing to admit, like the first thing I do when I wake up is I will pull out a Zyn, go get a fucking like Celsius or coffee and take my dog out, and then it's like behind the computer, like let's go.
This man.
Ugh. I mean, yes, you get into the habits of doing certain things here and there, but also it's like, firstly, I haven't seen those memes. Secondly, that's not good. Like, implement it in a more intelligent fashion. Like, I never go past like a threshold. Say I never take like more than 3 in a single day, and I cap it at 3 milligrams for me personally. And that fluctuates, not necessarily the amount, but like how I apply it to my daily routine. And yes, you do tend to get into a routine, but you wake up with a Zyn and a Monster? What the fuck? I mean, that's not, he said the meme was somewhat real, but he then went into his own particular ritual. And it didn't include Monster, but included Zyn. The very first thing you do is you pop it. That's like almost akin to waking up and then like drinking some like soda or something. It's like, you have to treat these things in a fashion that's appropriate. So it's like, I mean, and it's hard to say the long-term ramifications of such because, you know, it's new, these types of thing, it seems, from what I gather. So it's hard to know its long-term effects and if they're deleterious, but, you know, it applies to virtually anything. Some things worse than others, sure. Imagine Zyn's better than heroin. Heroin, like, sure, but even still, moderation. You have to sort of understand your own application of moderation, let's just say, right? Because some people, it goes from moderation, then it goes to a little bit more of a reliance, and then yada yada. Some people just go fucking full force in like that guy earlier, 10 Zyns in it. What's wrong with you, dude? Come on, cool it. But you have to be acknowledging of it as you're doing it, so that you don't fall off the wagon, as they say. You have to build a regimen, and you have to test, experiment, trial and error. You can't, it's something someone said about me about addiction, right? If you keep it sort of like, you know, wrangling your animals, like at a farm, it's so much harder to get them back in the fence once they've escaped. You have to keep them in, you have to focus on staying. It's like the falling off the wagon analogy. You gotta keep it under control. Otherwise that shit will caps you, and other people will be making lots of money off at your expense. That's kind of how addiction works, right? The guy wakes up, and what was one other thing that you could apply to what we're talking about here? The guy who's saying how he gets up, pops it in, goes out, gets some coffee. That right there, right? The sugar, the caffeine, that's another thing. Perfect example. It's a part of his everyday life, so he's constantly contributing to that machine that tries to like pull him in even more and more. It's like if you're a gambling addict, you don't go to a casino. You don't bet with your life savings, stuff like that. It's easier said than done, but it's the way that things are, and then you have to approach it in a way that won't destroy you. Look at me giving life advice, me and my high and mighty brain. It's like I'm just telling you the way that I approach this stuff, and it hasn't been like, even what's nice about it in my purview is that it costs considerably less, right? A single pouch, at least where I am, it's like $6, more or less, depending on where you get it at, like an average gas station. But like, say when I was doing THC, that was like $60 for the first. It was smoking, which just smoking in general is not good. Doesn't matter what type it is, vaping, cigars, cigarettes, weed. Smoking in general is just not good for your cardiovascular health. But even still, it's like that was a vice that I had and that I referred to rather consistently. And I still did it in a moderate fashion. It's still, but that, even to that extent of just simple moderation, that still took a pretty big chunk. The Zyns are much more accessible and less. For me, the way I react to THC is it makes me considerably anxious, and that's no good. I don't like that. That almost makes me feel weaker. I don't respond to things or react accordingly. Staying sober is better. And Zyn doesn't take me out of sobriety, although you could argue that that's what a nicotine high does, but it doesn't affect my coordination, right? It's just it's almost like a caffeine buzz. But even still, like nicotine's the one thing I do. I don't drink coffee. When I drink soda, it's usually non-caffeinated or diet, stuff like that, which there might be caffeine in diet soda. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I don't know. It's will it kill us in the boys though? That's the big question, and I don't think we have enough based on the studies and the amount of time that these types of things have been as prevalent in society as they have been for us to come to a valid enough decree. I mean, we can do testing. I've seen videos, like science videos. They were saying it's just there's nothing else in there. There's no carcinogens. There's nothing toxic. It seems from our understanding of the compounds within that they use to make these things. It's just nicotine. Which even still, nicotine, there's almost only so much knowledge as to its long-term effects on your health. There haven't been anything so far that they found that's like, okay, it's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna increase your chance of or cancer or something. As far as I know. Right, aside from just the zinc, because it's a pouch and it dissolves and it could affect your gum health, affect your teeth health. It could affect your heart rate or something like that. I guess even THC does that. But, look into it. Know more about it. Watch a bunch of videos, research, and see if it's something you want to apply. At the end of the day, the bottom line is no vice is the best vice, right? Just being high on life, which if you could do that, goddamn, good on you. You got some willpower there. But there's always something that everyone has. It's just how things work. It's everything. That applies to not even just a substance, but like, I don't know, an idea, a belief, a thought that you have, a certain habit. Even working out can be seen as a vice. It really just depends on the negatives and benefits to all of these things and how you treat them.
Here, let's go.
This man, it will shock none of you to learn, is named Hunter Chadwick. Hunter is a data scientist at the federal consulting company Booz Allen Hamilton. He's also a former platoon leader in the U.S. Army, where he first learned to love Zyn.
I was getting out of the military, and I used to do dip, like normal dip. And started doing Zyn because I kind of realized that if I went into an office, you can't have like a fat chaw in all the time. I don't know, it's just kind of gross. So when I was getting out, one of the guys I used to work with was doing them, and I tried it once or twice, and I was like, all right, yeah, this is kind of legit. It gives me the same kind of satisfaction for the most part, and it's you can't see it. I have one in right now, and no one would know.
But in order to properly gauge just how far Zyn sanity has spread, I needed to widen the scope of my investigation. I wondered perhaps if there were any women who liked Zyn. But then I got too nervous to ask any. So instead I found two other dudes who looked like they would give me a swirly, and I had them break down exactly what it feels like to respect the pouch.
It's a head rush, it feels smooth, it's like somebody tickles you, massaging your brain almost.
The best way I've found to describe it is just buzzing with the boys.
But unlike Hunter over here, these two fellas got into Zyn the old-fashioned.
Tony, wait for it. Buzzing with the boys. Hell yeah. This guy. Go subscribe to him.
To Zyn the old-fashioned way. Vaping and peer pressure.
I was a freshman in college, and my friend got a Juul for the first time. And then, me being a dumb 18-year-old, I knew no better. I was like, oh, wow, it feels so great. The Zyn was the smokeless alternative. Maybe a year ago, I just threw out the vapes and started ripping those.
So I, got on the vape for a couple of years, and then noticed, I played college sports, and then all of a sudden I was getting winded. It's not good for me. I'll go back to Zinning. And then it just got expensive, and I felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it. I stopped Zinning 10 days ago or so, and I don't feel any I don't feel any like withdrawal symptoms or all the things that they like talk about. Like I kind of just have been going with it.
And while one might see Zyn's rising pop,
that was the best joke of this entire video. That wasn't even planned. Oh, I quit Zynin. No withdrawal symptoms. Pops in a fucking cigarette. Dude, you talk about... What? God, that's worse, man. Oh, God. Okay. Also, the first one, the peer pressure. I don't know. I mean, everyone's susceptible to that, but I guess the extent of which they're susceptible to that really changes. Like, mine wasn't anything external. It was all in here. I was just like, damn, I just like these things, and I like doing these things. I didn't get it from anyone. Wasn't influenced. It was my own decision, my own volition. I didn't get hooked on because somebody introduced it to me. Interesting. It really just depends on everyone. Both your susceptibility to addiction and your susceptibility to peer pressure, which could play into each other. They could collide. But that was popping a fucking cigarette halfway through the... Dude, I stopped Zyn. I don't feel withdrawal symptoms. I'm Zynless now, man. Now I'm better off. Given that, maybe you should go back to the Zyns. Fucking smoking cigarettes is so much worse. It's way more expensive. Considerably, like, it's leagues different. Don't smoke, guys. Come on.
See Zyn's rising popularity as a threat to the traditional tobacco industry, its growth has actually been a strategic move by its parent company, Philip Morris.
What we're looking at doing is truly replacing our own cigarettes with new products.
For adults who would otherwise continue to smoke, switching to a smoke-free product is a pragmatic option.
And it turns out it's actually quite convenient to be manufacturing the replacement for your very own product. Zyn now dominates 74% of US market share for...
Oh yeah. Remember, bottom line, as I said, best vice is no vice. But this is, that makes it even more kind of gross, knowing that these are the same exact people that shill this thing to you. Because it works, right? Oh, we get you hooked on something. Oh, that now everyone's realizing that it's bad, and all of our lobby efforts haven't worked because tobacco companies lobbied incessantly for there to be sort of like a disillusionment, for there to be a gaslighting of its seriously negative effects for years and years. And then once like more people became aware of it, they're like, shit, I guess we got to change our strategy. All right, nicotine's the addictive thing. Let's just focus on that. Let's get them hooked on that. Man, yeah. It sucks. When you peel back the layers, there's always just grotesque nonsense. It sucks, man, but again, you just gotta know what's going on. You have to approach it in a responsible fashion, which is easier said than done, as I said, but let's keep going.
For nicotine pouches, and as shipments to the US continue to grow, Philip Morris's quarterly revenue reports have consistently beaten expectations. There's even a Zyndemic shortage happening as we speak, because US factories can't keep up with rising demand. Now, all this anti-smoking jibber-jabber sounds like real progress, but it's tough to see how Philip Morris talks about Zyn and trust that it's a good thing when this is how Philip Morris used to talk about cigarettes.
It's true. The babies born from women who smoke are smaller, but they're just as healthy as the babies born from women who do not smoke.
What about the higher rate?
And some women would prefer having smaller babies.
So to get an objective take on how healthy Zyn is, I decided to ring up a medical professional. David Toomey is an emergency physician and fellow in medical toxicology with expertise in the pharmacology and toxicity of nicotine. Basically, he's an expert in chemicals that are bad for you. He also happens to be my actual real-life brother, and while I haven't talked to my family in years due to my skyrocketing levels of fame, I had to bag this interview. So I lied and told him that everybody was getting together to celebrate Mom's birthday.
I mean, I haven't seen him in a really long time, and he reached out, said he wanted to connect, so I'm really happy to see him and touch base.
Hey! Oh, hey! What's going on?
Is everyone here?
Yeah, come on.
We're gonna go, like, see everyone and hang out? No? Oh, no, okay.
The cameras are on, over here.
The what? Oh, are Mom and Dad here? Or?
No.
Do you know that you're supposed to be doing an interview?
An interview.
After some quality family time, I was ready to understand what was actually going on with Zyn.
I would say that the primary health risk associated with any type of nicotine product is fundamentally related to addiction. Are you busy?
No,
you have something else going on?
It's a call from Mom.
A call from Mom.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
But I'll just...
Have you talked to Mom at all recently?
Nope, I'm gonna shut that off.
You shut that right, okay,
Yeah.
If the question is, can I use an oral nicotine replacement product as a way to quit cigarettes? The answer and the data would tend to suggest that certainly any alternative to smoking is considered better. I think that with a question of having never been exposed to a nicotine product to make the decision to use a nicotine product, people need to weigh that decision very seriously, and they should consider things like the effects of having a long-term addiction, whether or not that involves economic effects, the cost of these things, issues related to mood when you stop using these products, and potential long-term health effects that have yet to be discovered simply because of how new these products are.
Or do you think that there's nothing else that you might want to ask, maybe more personally, about your own relationship with Zyn?
Why would I need personal advice?
Well, you've been doing a lot of Zyn.
Yeah, I have it lining my tongue at the moment.
Think you could probably stop if you wanted to?
Yeah, big time.
Definitely.
I could.
Why don't you give him the Zyn?
Just give me the can.
No.
Mom wanted me to take the can away.
You tell Mom. You tell Mom she can shut the
don't-
fuck up. Stop! Get off me!
Give me the can!
No!
Go subscribe to him. God damn, this is good. Oh my god.
No!
Are you done? Dan.
It was then that I began to realize why I loved Zyn so much. For all the money I'd spent on it, all of the gums that I've receded in my mouth, and all of the strange lingo I'd developed, at the end of the day, Zyn was meant to bring people together. And if ever there was a place where forging bonds was desperately needed, it's the corporate office. That sterile, lifeless arena where strangers are herded in with each other every day to mingle and attempt to create shareholder value. If nothing else, maybe that's what poppin' a Zyn is all about. Turning strangers into friends and getting a buzz on while you're at it.
It's like if you're in the office and someone pulls out a tin, crack it open, it's like, oh, can I get one? No.
This might sound weird, but like corporate sanctioned degeneracy, like, you know, like you go to happy hour and it's like, we're so cool, like look at us, like as a team.
And sure, does being a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe lend itself to a crippling nicotine addiction? Probably.
Like, I don't even know what the Zenith that this is, to be honest with you. I mean, the next step I can think of is just IVing the nicotine straight into you at this point. Jesus Christ.
But at least we have something in common in our office. It definitely beats getting to know each other over icebreakers, that's for sure. God, love Zyn.
Dan, we're here because we care about you.
I don't have the can!
We're here because we care about you.
Yep, it was the summer of Zyn.
Very nice video. Haven't seen anything by this guy ever before. First time seeing it. Good shit. I'm gonna go pop a Zyn with my bros. I'm gonna Zyn it.